Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving into a system most people ignore completely. I mean, until that system starts dictating the limits of your life, we are talking about your lungs. This deep dive is for anyone who has noticed that, stairs feel longer, who gets winded just tying their shoes,
Yeah.
or who's dealing with that creeping low-level fatigue that you just blame on age.
And it is, it's the quietest form of decline, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous.
Right.
Unlike joint pain or memory issues, your lung capacity doesn't usually sound an alarm. It whispers.
Yay.
It steals your energy and vitality one shallow breath at a time.
And before you know it, just laughing too hard is enough to make you breathless.
Exactly. Or having a long conversation. Those limitations just become the new normal.
And the source material we're working with today gives us a phenomenal authority on this idea of sustained vitality. Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara.
An amazing figure.
He was Japan's oldest practicing doctor, working well into his hundreds. And he said his energy, his boundless energy, it wasn't from some secret cure. It was all about consistency and rhythm. He saw the lungs as the real key to longevity.
And that's the core insight we're pulling out today. The sources are so clear on this. Your lungs don't need some kind of medical miracle. They need movement, they need warmth, and they need a conscious daily rhythm.
So our mission today is to really get into the specifics. We need to understand the mechanics of this decline after 60, and then
arm you with the specific, simple 5-minute morning ritual Dr. Hinohara recommends. Something to open the lungs, reduce that breathlessness, and really set a powerful, energetic tone for the whole day.
Because what we're learning is that this subtle disuse, especially when it's combined with natural aging, it has this massive and often misdiagnosed cost. So let's break down the mechanics. For the listener who is starting to feel winded, what is scientifically happening to our breathing apparatus that causes this energy drain?
Well, after age 60, we see 3 key physical changes that sort of accumulate and diminish your overall function. The first is a natural loss of elasticity in the lung tissue itself. Think of your lungs less like fixed containers and more like giant balloons.
Huh. So like an old balloon that's been blown up and shrunk down 1,000 times, it just doesn't snap back anymore.
Exactly. That diminished tensile strength means the lungs don't fully expel old, stale air, and it takes more active effort to fully inflate them. And if you're leaving stale air in, you just have less room for fresh oxygen.
Okay, that makes sense.
The second issue is that the surrounding musculature weakens. This includes your chest muscles, but, and this is critical, most importantly, the diaphragm.
The diaphragm is the engine of breath.
It is the primary engine. And when that diaphragm stiffens and weakens, your body defaults to relying on accessory muscles,
Yeah.
in the neck and shoulders.
And that's where you get that tense, shallow chest breathing.
Yes, which then feeds into tension, poor posture, even neck pain, because those muscles just aren't meant for that kind of full-time heavy lifting.
It sounds like the real issue is misdiagnosis. I mean, if I'm tired, I check my sleep, or maybe my thyroid, but I almost never think to check the function of my diaphragm.
And that leads right into the third problem. The airways themselves narrow slightly over time, often due to just low-grade chronic inflammation. So these 3 things, the loss of elasticity, weak muscles, and narrow airways, they combine to create that domino effect you mentioned.
And since oxygen fuels everything.
Everything, cognitive function, your heart, cellular repair.
Yeah.
When your breath shrinks, that vital fuel supply just dips.
The body starts to dim. That phrase from Dr. Hinohara is so powerful. Can you elaborate on what that dimming actually looks like beyond just feeling tired?
It's pervasive. It's things like cognitive fog, slower physical recovery after exercise, and maybe most subtly, a decreased emotional resilience.
How so?
Well, if your body is constantly stressed because its primary energy source, oxygen, is constrained, your ability to handle even small stressors just evaporates. Dr. Hinohara saw so many patients who were technically healthy but were suffering this slow fade of vitality, all because their breath was shrinking unnoticed. They were constantly running on a half tank of fuel.
So the core principle here, the starting point for any kind of intervention, is that quote from the doctor: prevention doesn't begin with medicine, it begins with attention.
Attention means treating the system consistently. We're not looking for a sudden miracle cure. We're looking for daily, gentle, rhythmic attention. You have to treat your lungs like a garden.
Daily watering, daily checks.
Exactly. Daily consistency. If we provide that consistent, gentle movement, the tissues stay pliable and the muscles remember their full range of motion.
So if attention is the starting point, then the next question is, how do we harness the unique biology of the breath, that conscious bridge you mentioned, to send the right message to the body every single morning?
What's fascinating here is the power of the very first breath of the day. Dr. Hinohara teaches that the way we initiate our breathing sequence in the morning is a canalin. It's a fundamental message that shapes your body's entire hormonal and neurological response for the next several hours.
Because a shallow, tight breath immediately tells your nervous system, warning, we are under stress.
Correct. And a full, slow, deep breath signals we are safe, we are ready, we are in charge. Especially after 60, the body's nervous system tends to be more alert to danger signals, and it can respond more dramatically.
Which is why he insists on begin the day with your lungs, not your phone.
You check your breath first. That is your first conscious act of strength and self-care.
I really appreciate that bridge concept. We tend to think of systems as either automatic, like your heartbeat, or voluntary, like lifting weights. But breath is right in the middle.
It's the only system in the body that is both automatic and controllable. Most people, when they live under accumulated stress, they just let their breath run automatically, and it defaults to that inefficient, shallow chest breathing.
But when you consciously intervene, even for just a few minutes...
You are seizing control of that bridge between your conscious mind and your unconscious body.
But let's introduce some, real-world skepticism here. If someone is genuinely winded walking up a single flight of stairs, can 5 minutes of gentle movement really counteract decades of decline in stiffness?
That's a fair question.
Yeah.
But the benefit of conscious breathing isn't just mechanical, it's neurological. The immediate benefits of stepping into that control they're profound. By slowing down your breath, you immediately lower the production of cortisol.
The primary stress hormone.
Right. You improve circulation, and most importantly, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system.
Which is the body's rest and digest, or its healing system.
Precisely. You are giving yourself a pharmaceutical-grade dose of calming and healing hormones just by changing the rhythm. That's why the simplicity is the strength here. Dr. Hinohara argued that a quiet, consistent 5-minute ritual can be more effective than complex cures because the body responds best to a calm, steady rhythm, not frantic, complicated interventions.
Okay, let's get tangible. If you're ready to start rebuilding this rhythm tomorrow morning, what exactly are the actionable steps? The doctor emphasizes kindness, not force, which I think is vital, especially for those recovering from respiratory illnesses.
Kindness is paramount. We're gently reminding the muscles, not punishing them. The ritual starts right after waking, ideally while you're still sitting up in bed, before you even stand fully.
Step 1, diaphragmatic retraining, or what they call essential belly breaths.
So you sit up slowly in bed, place one hand on your belly and the other gently on your chest. This creates immediate feedback so you can actually monitor the movement.
And the technique is specific. You inhale deeply through your nose for 5 seconds. The key, I think, is feeling the belly rise first, pushing your hand out while the chest stays relatively still.
Then you hold that breath briefly. The source suggests a short 2-second count, which is a great starting point. And then you exhale slowly, deliberately through your mouth for a full 7 seconds. You should feel the belly soften and sink back in.
That long 7-second exhale is crucial, isn't it? Why is the exhale so much longer than the inhale?
That's where the magic is. The long exhale activates that parasympathetic system much more powerfully than the inhale does. You're fully emptying the residual air, which reduces the overall stress state, and it directly stimulates the vagus nerve.
Wow.
This is the physiological mechanism that actively reduces anxiety and that feeling of breathlessness. You repeat that 5-7 sequence 5 times.
It sounds like a fantastic way to interrupt that lifelong habit of shallow chest breathing.
It is. Dr. Hinohara observed that patients who began this exercise often said they felt like they were breathing like they were running a marathon, even while sitting still, because their baseline was just so rapid and shallow. This ritual resets that.
So once those 5 belly breaths are complete, we transition to movement. Step 2, arm raises for the rib cage stretch.
Right. Stand slowly, and I'd suggest moving to a window, even if it's just slightly cracked open, for some fresh air. Air quality really matters when you're doing this deep work.
As you inhale slowly, you raise both arms gently overhead, really extending the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, you just let the arms fall completely. Let gravity do the work.
This simple movement is targeting the intercostal muscles, those small muscles between your ribs. Most people only breathe front to back, but the intercostals are essential for lateral expansion,
So they let the rib cage expand outwards, side to side.
allowing the lungs to open to their full capacity. We often neglect these muscles entirely.
Yeah.
5 slow, mindful breaths while you do this movement.
And finally, step 3, The side stretch, which is meant for clearing stagnation and really engaging the whole torso.
With your arms raised above your head again, you keep your feet planted and just gently lean side to side, left and right, while keeping the breath slow and steady. It almost feels like a slow motion dance.
And a note from the sources here. Dr. Hinohara mentions that you might feel a mild tightness or even a slight crackle in the ribs at first.
And that is normal. And it's temporary. It just means the muscles and the fascia, they haven't been fully mobilized in a while. It's the lungs and the chest wall waking up. That slight tightness fades as the body remembers what full, unrestrained breathing feels like. This whole process takes 5 minutes, but it restores lung capacity, oxygen flow, and energy that aging quietly tries to steal.
It's amazing how this small movement can ripple out to affect energy, mood, even your physical balance. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, once you've opened your lungs with breath and movement, the next logical step is to make sure your nutrition continues that positive momentum.
Precisely. Food in the Hinohara system isn't just fuel, it's instruction to the body. If you've just told your lungs to be open and warm and expansive, you don't want to shock the system with heavy, cold, or inflammatory foods.
The guiding principle is so powerful, breath is light, so your first meal should feel that way too.
And the first step is always warmth. Warmth helps thin mucus and stimulates the diaphragm gently. So, before cold juice or that harsh acidic coffee, start with warm water and lemon. It's like a gentle internal shower. It wakes up the digestive system without shocking it.
And for targeted lung support, what about specific teas? Does the source recommend anything?
Yeah, the focus is on anti-inflammatory compounds. Ginger and turmeric tea are highly recommended. Turmeric has curcumin, which is a well-known anti-inflammatory that helps calm low-level swelling in the airways.
And the ginger?
Ginger acts as a mild bronchodilator, so it helps to relax and clear the bronchial tubes. This is really the nutritional continuation of the breathing ritual.
And then for the actual breakfast, we want something grounding, but also clean.
Yes. Think warm oats with a little cinnamon, avoiding heavy refined sugars or dairy, which can encourage mucus production. And here's a specific nutrient pointer. Include a handful of pumpkin seeds.
Oh, interesting. Why pumpkin seeds?
They're rich in magnesium, which acts as a natural muscle relaxant. It helps to smooth the muscles of the respiratory system stay pliable and flexible.
So the ripple effect is clear. Consistent breath and movement, supported by lightness and warmth in your diet, it impacts everything. Energy, memory, even joint pain, because the body is finally getting the critical oxygen it needs.
It's all about consistency, not rushing or pressure. It's the secret of daily habits. That 5 minutes of deliberate breath becomes the foundation for better movement, calmer responses, and sustained vitality throughout the day. Little by little, you rebuild the rhythm that aging tried to steal.
So what does this all mean? We've covered the silent mechanics of lung decline, the stiffening, the narrowing, the dimming, and we've armed you with a clear 5-minute protocol that is simple, deeply rooted in longevity wisdom, and highly effective.
And we need to leave the listener with this understanding. Aging doesn't inherently mean decline. Dr. Hinohara noted that so much of the physical decline he saw was due to disconnection. People simply stopped paying attention to how they were breathing.
They stopped moving fully, and so they stopped breathing fully.
Not because they couldn't, but just because they lost the rhythm.
This ritual is that vital daily reminder, not just to the lungs, but to your entire self, the way you begin your day. It really does shape everything that follows. Start with your breath, before the screen, before the caffeine, before the demands of the world rush in.
When you start each day by treating your breath as an invitation to expansive life, not an exhausting effort, you're beginning from a place of genuine power.
If you want to feel alive, strong, and ready for whatever comes after 60, start each day by honoring the simple, profound breath that keeps you here.